Hello there, folks. Well, today is Sunday. I wasn't expecting to do a video today, but last week I challenged you to get involved more at church and join a small group, a Sunday school class, or midweek Bible study, and I took my own advice. Today I started a new class at church. It is a study where they're going through the Gospel of Luke. For those of you that know me well, you know that that's my favorite gospel, and that I've already taught through that myself a couple times. I thought, you know what? It would be a good opportunity to just go back in and review my notes from that class, and maybe to share here on a video format with some other folks that, maybe aren't able to go out and be in a small group for whatever reason, your health reason, or just, it doesn't matter. But maybe you're just challenged to get out and actually be in a group right now. So the more things that are presented online for you, the better. And I think it would be a fun opportunity for me to just go back and review some of my notes and just say, hey, you know what? I love this gospel. And there's a lot there to unpack and to remember. And I'm going to do this as much for myself as I am for you, whoever you are listening right now. Anyways, I'll probably begin in earnest tomorrow reviewing some of those notes. But right now, let's just kind of unpack some of the stuff that needs to be said. So the way that I will go through Luke is not a drive-through window fast food restaurant kind of Bible study, okay? Even if that's what the Sunday school class turns out to be, that's not what I'm going to be doing. I will. This is a slow, romantic dinner that you don't care that the waitress is ignoring you, okay? That you've got lots of things to say to the person that's there with you, and you just don't mind at all that you're being ignored in the corner of the restaurant. Let's just begin here real quick by kind of looking at who is Luke and what this gospel is, what it entails, and how it's different than the other three gospels that we have. Luke's gospel is the longest book in the New Testament, the longest of the gospels, of course. This is actually kind of a part one. The sequel, as many of you already know, is the book of Acts. Luke was a doctor, and he was a traveling companion with the Apostle Paul. They went on all the missionary journeys. If you look in the back of your Bible, you probably have maps there that show all the places that Paul visited. Well, for many of those places, Luke was right there along his side with him. He took time to interview a lot of people along the way who would have known Jesus, maybe knew Mary, maybe witnessed many of the things that we know about Jesus. And as he's interviewing these folks, he took careful notes. And then when toward the end of Paul's life, when Paul is in prison, tradition says that is when Luke sat down and compiled his notes, put them all in order, and actually wrote the letters that we call Luke and Acts. Luke is a Gentile doctor, meaning that he's not a Jew. He's one of the only Gentile writers that we have in the New Testament. He is the only, not one of only, he is the only. He would have been a very learned person, and his writing in the New Testament clearly shows that. He is a man of education. He would have suffered right along with Paul. I think that's something that maybe we tend to not think about. But when Paul is thrown out of town, chased out of town, Luke has to go with him, right? Luke is also being chased out of town. When Paul is in prison, Luke is there with him. And that maybe Luke had the opportunity to leave the prison whenever he chose, whereas Paul did not, but we don't know that. When Paul is shipwrecked, Luke is shipwrecked as well. That's hard to say. Let's see what else we can say about this. Again, it's a very long book, and so it's going to take us a while to get through this, and I hope that doesn't discourage you. I began talking about doing the one another's last week, and I said, hey, it'd be a great idea to read John chapter 13. Well, if I looked at my Bible right now, I'd probably find John chapter 13 maybe has about 35, 40 verses in it. And that's a pretty easy read. But Luke's first chapter here is 80 verses long, and those are long verses. It takes up several pages in my Bible. The first chapter of Luke is longer than a lot of the books that we have in the Bible, several of them. Just that one chapter, those 80 verses take up a lot of space. So we won't cover Luke chapter 1 in one sitting, and not even in 1 week. I'm going to just take tomorrow. I'm probably going to do another video. That's my intention anyway. And it'll just be the first 4 verses, which interesting in my Bible, which is the NASB, New American Standard Bible, those 4 verses, that's one sentence. And you're like, whoa, it's like a paragraph, but it's one sentence. And there's a lot there to unpack. And so tomorrow I'll sit down and I'll tackle that with you. And I'll go back to my old notes. So the Bible that I'm currently using, this is what I lovingly refer to as Bible number 2. And my other one is Bible number 1, but I have a couple Bibles before I started numbering them. Anyways, but my Bible number 1, that is what I taught from when I was teaching Luke. And so I'll drag that Bible out and make sure that I look at those notes that I have in the margin and stuff of that Bible. And I also have some new notes in Bible number 2. And so I'll be flipping back and forth between my 2 Bibles and maybe some other reference materials as well. And some actual notes that I took on papers when I was teaching Luke. But that's where I'm going to head. Going to do that, and I'm still going to do the one another Bible study. So this Luke thing that I'm going to do here with you is not me doing a new Bible study. This, I'll just be honest with you. What I'm doing here is I'm just going back to my old notes and I'm going to review them, and because I think that's good for me. It's a healthy thing for me to do. I learned a lot of good things teaching through this gospel before, and I want to review those. I want to remind myself of them. And then from time to time, some of it, of course, is going to incorporate brand new material just because I'm in a new setting. I have a new teacher that's taking this group through this gospel, and there's other people in the group with their own things that they can input and share. And so some of it will be my notes and some of it will be new material to me. But I just like to, so whatever the pace that the teacher that I have on Sundays now, whatever pace he's going to do is what I'm going to try to do. Not necessarily in one video though. So for instance, today in class, we got down to, I think it was verse 18 of chapter 1. And, but I'm not going to go through verse 18 in one sitting with you, because for me to do that, I would probably talk for a couple hours and maybe more. Anyways, we'll see. But I am just going to start with like one video on Monday. I'll go through the first 4 verses, which is called the prologue of Luke, where he introduces himself and his audience, who he's writing this letter to and why. So that prologue is what we'll cover first. I'll make that video Monday, then hopefully Tuesday I'll come back and I'll cover the next verse or 2, and we'll just eventually by next Sunday hope to get to verse 18, so that next week on Monday then I can start verse 19 and pick up where the Sunday school class is picking up. And I'll just let whatever pace my new teacher is going, I'll let that pace be the pace that I follow. So if he goes this far in a week, I'll try to go that far in a week. But like I've said, I'll break it up into a few videos because I think it's better for you to have it in little chunks. And there's lots of stuff in there that I would like to say, and I think it's important. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's just fluff. I don't know. You can certainly tell me that in the comments below. if what I'm saying is just too much detail. But I enjoyed learning it, and I do enjoy sharing what I learn. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to dig out that old Bible and my old notes, and I'll be here tomorrow, and we'll talk about the prologue for Luke chapter 1. All right? So I hope you're having a blessed Sunday, and I hope to see you here tomorrow. All right? Thanks, folks. Bye-bye.